For years, Germany's online gambling market was basically the Wild West, just total chaos. But recently, everything changed. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how Germany went from that chaos to one of the most tightly controlled gambling markets on the entire planet. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about scale. To get your head around this, just look at this number, almost 3 billion euros. And that was the value of Germany's online gambling sector way back in 2021. It's been growing like crazy ever since. So we're not talking about some niche market here. This is a full-blown digital gold rush with just massive potential.
So you've got billions of euros flying around in this totally confusing legal landscape. Germany had a huge task on its hands. It really begs the question, right? How do you even begin to tame a market that's that big and that unruly? That's the story we're going to unpack right now.
All right, so to really get the solution, we've got to rewind a bit and understand the problem. Before this big overhaul, the situation was, well, to put it mildly, it was a complete mess. It was this frontier of just fragmented and honestly often conflicting rules.
And this confusion didn't just pop up overnight, oh no. It's the result of a really long, really complicated history. I mean, you can trace this all the way back to 1872 with an act that banned most gambling houses. Fast forward, and a more modern attempt in 2008, it just didn't work, and the chaos continued. The real breakthrough, the game changer, didn't happen until 2021 with something called the Fourth Interstate Treaty. That's what finally legalized and, crucially, unified online gambling across the whole country.
And when you put the old and new systems side by side, wow, the difference is stark. It's like night and day. Before 2021, just imagine this. You've got 16 different states, each with its own set of rules, a huge unregulated online market, and some pretty big risks for players. And the goal after 2021? A complete 180. A single federal law, super tightly controlled licenses, and a huge focus on keeping players safe. The change was absolutely enormous.
So, the big question is, how did Germany pull off such a dramatic shift? Well, it all came down to a single, landmark piece of legislation. One law that basically rewrote the entire rulebook for the whole country. Let's take a look.
Okay, this right here is the cornerstone of the entire new German market. It's the Fourth Interstate Treaty on Gambling. So what is it? It's a federal agreement that made online sports betting, virtual slots, and poker legal. But here's the most important part. It created one single regulatory system for all of Germany. No more state-by-state mess.
And you really can't overstate the impact of this. This wasn't just some minor update to the rules. No, this was a truly seismic shift. It put an end to decades of legal confusion and patchwork laws, creating one single national system for the very first time.
Now, of course, new laws are great, but they're just words on paper if there's no one to enforce them, right? So to make this whole new system actually work, Germany needed a powerful new regulator. Basically, a new sheriff in town for this regulated territory.
And this new sheriff has a name. Get ready for it. The Gemeinsame Glücksspielbehörde der Länder. We're just going to call it the GGL for short. Its mission? It's crystal clear. They are the one and only central authority for handing out online gambling licenses. It's their job to enforce the federal laws, keep an eye on player protection, and actively hunt down any illegal gambling operations.
And the GGL has some serious teeth. This is a really crucial point. Under the German Civil Code, any contract with an unlicensed gambling company is considered legally void. So what does that actually mean for players? It means if you lose money to an unlicensed site, you can legally sue to get your money back. And people are doing it. This creates a huge financial risk for any operator that even thinks about trying to bypass the new sheriff.
Okay, so let's say you're a gambling operator, and you want to play by the rules. What does it actually take to get a license and operate legally in this super strict new environment? Well, let's just say the barrier to entry is high. And I mean really high, both financially and operationally.
Let's start with the money. 5 million euros. And that's just the minimum security deposit an operator has to put up. It can go all the way up to 50 million. What this does right away is ensure that only the really well-funded, serious companies can even think about getting in the game. We're talking about the big international players.
And believe me, that deposit is just the first step. It's not just about the money. Getting a license is like running a gauntlet. You have to prove you know what you're doing, that you're reliable. You've got to have really strong player protection tools in place. You have to comply with super strict anti-money laundering rules. Oh,
And you also have to guarantee full data security under GDPR. It is an incredibly tough process.
And the rules don't even stop there. Even how you market your site is tightly controlled. Operators are facing really heavy restrictions on their advertising, especially during times when kids and teens are likely to be watching TV or online.
And on top of everything else, yep, there's a tax. A 5.3% tax is slapped on every single stake. That means every sports bet, every hand of poker, every single spin on a virtual slot machine. Now, this obviously cuts into profits, but it also raises a really big concern. Does this make the legal licensed operators less competitive than the illegal untaxed sites?
So let's add it all up. You've got the single unified law, the powerful regulator, those massive deposits, the super strict rules, and the taxes. What kind of market does all that create? Well, you get a landscape that is definitely safer, way stricter, and just fundamentally different from anything that came before.
The new reality really is a trade-off. For the operators who play by the rules, the good news is you get a clear legal framework and access to this huge wealthy market. But the bad news? Well, the disadvantages are pretty severe. You've got that incredibly strict licensing, you can't really advertise freely, and you have that high tax rate. And here's the kicker. All of that together could actually end up pushing players towards the illegal black market that these rules were designed to get rid of. So in the end, Germany has successfully built this fortress of regulation around its online gambling market. But the big question we're all left with is this fortress the perfect blueprint for keeping players safe? Or are its high walls and super strict rules actually going to become a barrier that just stifles competition and growth? That is the high-stakes gamble that Germany and the rest of the world is now watching play out.